On this edition of Good Day DePaul, the university pushes to get out the vote.
A new exhibit at the DePaul Art Museum showcases a multi-talented Chicago artist.
And song and dance combine on stage in a recent concert at the School of Music. I'm Nathan Wiegraff.
And I'm Daniel Duff, and this is Good Day DePaul. With the presidential election approaching next month, many students are freshly eligible for voter registration. I took a look at a DePaul organization that's trying to make this happen. Election season is in full effect. Here at DePaul, the student organization Vote DePaul is committed to registering young voters ahead of the 2024 presidential election next month. The organization is part of the university's Office of Student Involvement. Nathan Bernard is Vote DePaul's voter registration specialist. Recently, Bernard represented the organization at DePaul's annual Vinny Fest, a celebration of the school's Vincentian values. For Bernard, keeping students engaged is the best way to get them excited about voting.
We actually, want to make it a point to, host good events. We're doing a movie night later in October. Voter engagement week's coming up. Even though it's a requirement, we kind of want to make it a real thing,
As for the actual process of registering to vote, Bernard says it almost couldn't be easier.
So the voter registration process is honestly so much easier than people think. It genuinely takes 5 to 10 minutes if you know your information. All you really have to do is go on vote.org. It's where you can check if you're registered, if you're unsure, and if not, you can register on the same website. You just put in some of your information, where your mailing address is, your residence address, if it's different, your name, email. Once you're done with that, they send you an application, you sign it, send it back in, and then you're pretty much good to go.
Although many new voters tend to be surprised by how simple registering to vote can be, Bernard was arguably more surprised by the amount of excitement that already exists on campus.
Especially at the involvement fair, what surprised me the most is just how eager and excited people seemed about not just this upcoming election and making their voices heard, but voting and the idea of it. There were so many people that I didn't expect that came up to me and were like, I've been trying to get this figured out for so long. We appreciate you guys so much. It just made my day, genuinely.
In such a critical election, Bernard believes that young people will turn out to vote in big numbers on November 5th. And because they are one of the largest voter demographics, many feel their turnout could be a chief driving force in the results of the election.
No matter what your political affiliation is, no matter what your personal views are, no one wants things to not be better, right? And I think even both candidates have been really trying to appeal to the young vote, since it's kind of the biggest tipping point when it comes to big elections. I think my prediction is that this is definitely going to be the biggest turnout in our generation.
And if you missed Vote DePaul at Vinny Fest this year, don't worry. You can still register online through their page on DHub. The deadline to register online in Illinois is October 20th. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Daniel Duff.
DePaul has released its Safety and Security Information Report for last year. It details the crimes reported on both campuses in 2023. According to the report, 1 rape was reported on Lincoln Park campus and 1 off campus. In the Loop, there was also 1 rape on campus and 1 in the surrounding area. 4 instances of fondling were reported on the Lincoln Park campus, with 2 more occurring in the Loop, 1 on campus and 2 just off. 22 robberies occurred in Lincoln Park, with 1 on campus and the other 21 just off campus, while 3 out of 15 reported robberies in the Loop occurred on campus, with 12 in the nearby area. In terms of aggravated assault and battery, there were 5 in Lincoln Park, 2 on campus and 5 off. And in the Loop, 1 assault was on campus and 7 just off campus. There were 6 reports of burglary on the Lincoln Park campus and 2 in the Loop, as well as 1 motor vehicle theft on the Lincoln Park campus and 26 in the surrounding neighborhood. In the Loop, 14 motor vehicle thefts occurred off campus. As far as hate crimes, one happened in Lincoln Park and another in the Loop. Racial bias was involved in both crimes.
A new report from the Chicago Sun-Times finds that bike thefts are up 13% in Chicago from last year. Some students and staff at DePaul ride their bikes to the two campuses, as well as to jobs and other activities. Authorities urge bike riders to use multiple locks when locking their bikes and to register their bikes with the Chicago Police Department.
Here at DePaul, D2L experienced an error on September 29th, causing course access to disappear temporarily for some students and faculty. In an email from DePaul Information Services, the university said access to these courses was quickly restored. They said the problem was a course scheduling error between Campus Connect and D2L. The DePaul Art Museum recently opened a special exhibit featuring the life's work of a prolific Chicago artist, featuring roughly 85 pieces. It's the largest collection of the artist's work to date. I recently went to the museum to see this special exhibit.
The DePaul Art Museum's new exhibit, entitled Edgar Miller Anti-Modern, opened on September 12th and will remain open till February 23, 2025. The exhibit features pieces crafted over the course of 50 years from 1917 until 1967. The artist, Edgar Miller, arrived in Chicago in the early 20th century and produced work which spanned multiple disciplines and mediums.
Edgar Miller Anti-Modern 1917 to 1967 is the first real retrospective large-scale exhibition dedicated to this kind of amazing hiding in plain sight figure named Edgar Miller, who was active in Chicago during the dates of the show, plus well into the 90s. He comes back after being away for a couple decades.
Because much of Miller's work has been lost or dispersed around the world, the exhibit offers a fragmented selection of what remains, parts of murals, book pages, glasswork, and architectural sketches. Nevertheless, the exhibit provides context for the diverse range of pieces and is geared toward audiences unfamiliar with Miller's work.
Accessibility is really important, right? Like I'm not interested in doing shows for like the five snooty art people that know everything about art. And I think that's DePaul Art Museum's general vibe, is to really make things accessible to a broad range of people and to have it be a welcoming space that anybody can pop into.
As the most extensive presentation of Miller's work to date, the exhibit brings together 85 artworks, graphics, and other printed material from all facets of Miller's career. And because much of his career was spent working collaboratively, the exhibit also showcases pieces made by Miller's colleagues and contemporaries. Together, these pieces are designed to illustrate the complex life of an innovative artist and polymath. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Nathan Wiegraff.
Next on Good Day DePaul, a local college receives a unique gift.
And a compelling performance at the DePaul School of Music. Those stories and more when we return.
There are a ton of social networking websites, but one stands apart for a very special reason. This one saves lives. It's MatchingDonors.com. MatchingDonors.com links living organ donors with people in need of kidney and other transplants. In the United States, 22 people die each day waiting for an organ transplant, most of them for kidneys. If you've ever considered becoming a living organ donor, or if you are someone in need of an organ transplant, visit MatchingDonors.com, home of the greatest gift of all, the gift of life. MatchingDonors.com.
The University of Chicago has received a $100 million gift from an anonymous donor. The goal? To support free inquiry and expression. The university said the gift will be used to, quote, promote the understanding, practice, and advancement of free and open discourse at UChicago and around the world through events and initiatives.
For the third year in a row, Americans can once again order at-home COVID-19 tests from the federal government free of charge. Anyone wanting a test can order one at covid.gov/tests to get 4 tests shipped to them by the U.S. Postal Service.
In a city like Chicago, it's not hard to find a musical group to enjoy live or a dance troupe to spend your Friday night watching. But have you ever seen both at the same time? Good Day DePaul's Morgan Kirsch reports that this recently happened at the DePaul School of Music, as some professional musicians and dancers held a memorable performance.
Chicago a cappella and Ballet 5/8 came to DePaul to collaborate for the first time in their new show, Lamentations. The concert premiered in the Allen Recital Hall of the Holtschneider Performance Center September 27th. Performers combined vocal and dance techniques to explore themes of warmth, longing, loss, despair, and hope. Chicago a cappella singer Trevor Mitchell says the show pushed the performers to new emotional depths.
For me, I would say that I can't remember ever doing a proper performance of so many pieces that were so emotionally, draining in a way, so much pathos and chaos and all of that.
The concert features a variety of songs. By collaborating with Ballet 5/8, the concert aims to bring contemporary movement to Thomas Tallis's Lamentations of Jeremiah. The composition is based on a collection of poems about the destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BCE. Chicago a cappella's creative director John Trotter says each of the show's themes connect back to feeling a sense of home.
This show is about longing, especially longing for home. There are so many folks, in a sense all of us, who long for home or who are afraid of losing our home. Many of us live away from home for various reasons or will be leaving home. And even for those of us who have a home, home is different things to different people. So we just came across a huge amount of music that is just full of that yearning.
Teresa Latuma is an alto singer for Chicago a cappella. She says some of their songs' themes resonate with her as a performer and a mother.
This year I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and no one knows lamentations of longing for home like a young newborn baby and a postpartum mom.
Latuma says their concert creates community.
One really beautiful thing of coming together, singers and dancers and ensemble, and also the people who come out to hear us, we gather together and we're a community. And I think one of the best things about a Lamentations concert is that we kind of get to express this sorrow together and we're not holding it in.
Juliana Slager, the director and choreographer of Ballet 5/8, says her choreography was inspired by people's natural responses to grief.
I think a big part of movement and dance is just allowing the human spirit to kind of do what it naturally does, right? Each one of us, when we're sad, right, we hunch down a little bit, right? Our eyes squint, our chin comes down. It's taking normal everyday things like that, but then exaggerating them and then adding dance technique to them.
Creative director John Trotter wants to leave it up to the audience to determine what they take away.
So I believe pretty deeply that I don't want to tell people how to feel when things like this happen, but I want them to have options, and they want the options to run the gamut from just exquisite beauty and the kind of sensory immersion of a very rare experience, all the way through to a deep consideration of our own vulnerability and mortality.
Latuma thinks the music may be particularly engaging for some DePaul community members.
DePaul being a Catholic university, hearing some of these works paired with other modern contemporary pieces, it's a little bit familiar works, it's a little bit unexpected pairings, and it's kind of that beauty and juxtaposition that we're excited to share with you all.
The show received an enthusiastic standing ovation from the audience. Chicago a cappella and Ballet 5/8's Lamentations concert will appear at different locations through October 6th. Their next concert at the Holtschneider Performance Center will premiere in the spring.
Chicago a cappella will return to Gannon Concert Hall March 29th to trace the journey of jazz. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Morgan Kirsch.
Now, a brief look at sports. The DePaul volleyball team continues to roll. They're off to a 2-0 start in Big East play with wins over Xavier and Butler. The Blue Demons are 10-4 overall.
In men's soccer, DePaul and Xavier recently played to a 0-0 tie at Wish Field. The Blue Demons are now 0-1-1 in Big East play and 3-4-2 overall.
And in women's soccer, the Blue Demons are 0-1-1 in Big East play after a tie with Butler. Their overall record is 2-5-3.
Coming up, Chicago's historic Graceland Cemetery. DePaul will help tell its story.
Details when we return.
2004 Skateboard Championship.
High school, moped.
How about you, Slim? Anything?
Something.
Looks like Slim's got a little paper cut.
It's nothing.
Come on, man. No, I'm gonna make you tell me.
Hey, kidney transplant.
When, dude? I didn't know you were sick.
I was donating it.
Someone in your family?
You gave your kidney to a complete stranger?
Yeah, saved his life.
Wow. All right.
Everyone can save a life by being a living organ donor on matchingdonors.com.
DePaul is collaborating with Chicago's Graceland Cemetery on the north side. The goal, to educate visitors about the cemetery's 164-year-old history. The project is funded by a grant of more than $198,000 from the Gaylord and Dorothy Donnelly Foundation. DePaul students and faculty will create digital audio tours and exhibits for the cemetery's Visitors Center. That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Nathan Wiegraff.
And I'm Daniel Duff. Have a good day, DePaul.